Hey everyone, David C. Anderson from the KnifeCenter coming at you from Blade Show 2024. We're here at the Benchmade booth with John Marquez. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Good to see you.
Good to see you again as well. We got two main things to talk about today. The first is a new expansion to the Shootout OTF family that just launched yesterday, so you can actually get your hands on these right now. And as a fan of this particular blade shape, personally, I'm excited about the drop point Shootout. Here we go.
Yeah, I am also a fan of drop points, so I've been waiting for this for a long time. The Shootout was, our first OTF that we designed specifically for everyday carry, right? There's a lot of convenience built into having an OTF, but OTFs aren't usually optimized for everyday cutting tasks.
It's
right?
usually a little more tactical, a little more, perhaps overbuilt, but definitely catering to a different vibe.
Yeah, they're usually a little bit heavier. Blade geometry isn't always ideal for like slicing cuts and things like that. So, from the beginning, we designed the Shootout for EDC specifically. So going super lightweight, but a drop point blade really just makes total sense for this kind of a knife.
I agree.
Yeah, so
it is by far of currently available production stuff, I think this is my favorite blade shape for my needs. Because I'm not an operator, I'm not a tactical guy. I like a slicey blade. I happen to like a drop point. And I like this so much in the first place. I own one of the Tontos already because it still slices really well too, but I'm going to own one of these before the end of the year for sure.
Yeah. Super thin blade stock on this, so the cutting geometry is just perfect for your everyday carry. We've got Cruer blades, which is standard for the Shootout, so Cruer blades still on both versions.
And that's going to bring some toughness into that thinner blade stock too, which is nice.
Yep. And good edge retention as well.
Absolutely.
This one here, just like the original Shootout, this is a CF Elite handle. So this is carbon fiber fill, nice and lightweight, very rigid, great construction. You've got the glass breaker on the back.
Yep.
And then new to the Shootout family completely is the Ranger Green with the black DLC coating. This also has the glass breaker. This is Ranger Green Grivery.
Yeah, they're excellent. I mean, the action's good. People really appreciate those. One of the things I saw but never really thought it was a big deal that someone pointed out one time was the hole for the blade is actually centered in the handle. It's not offset.
Yep.
And some people don't like that offset blade. So I've never bought an OTF before because of that. I was like, oh, maybe check this out.
Yep, and that is honestly why we built it that way. And it's because it's feedback that we'd heard throughout the years. Is it necessary to create a great functioning knife? No.
It's just nice.
Yeah, it was just nice. And it was like we were already challenging our engineering team to build this super simple, lightweight, thin mechanism with an injection molded handle, which we hadn't done before. And we were like, let's also center the blade.
Right.
So let's just throw one more challenge.
Let's bring it on.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the other nod to EDC that I really appreciate about this, and the other thing where I think a lot of other OTFs on the market, as good as they are, don't really focus on is the handle ergonomics. Like this is an actual handle, I like to say, on this knife.
Yeah.
Designed for holding it.
Well, and these are, essentially an OTF version of the bailout, which is a tactical version of the bug out, right? So, the idea was to go with a nice, simple, handle shape that fits lots of different types of hands, different sizes of hands. You don't need super aggressive jimping, but something that just locks up nicely for everyday carry.
Absolutely, absolutely. But as soon as I saw the samples at SHOT Show, I knew I was going to have to own one because it fits what I need for EDC and probably fits more people's EDC needs a lot better than most other OTFs. So if that's been something holding you back from trying out an OTF automatic, this might be the one for you. That's it for this. We're going to juke over to the other side of the booth to show you one more set of knives. All right, so now the next thing we have to talk about is the waterline, which you guys debuted earlier this year at SHOT Show. Those recently became available for purchase as well. Bullet points are comfortable handles, Magna Cut steel, but we'll get a little more, in depth to it here.
Yeah.
Let's start with the fixed blade, just because I really like the size of this knife right here.
Yeah.
Tell us about that again.
This is my personal favorite in the water collection. So we've got the Santoprene handle. It's nice and grippy. It's weather resistant and all that good stuff. Exactly what you'd expect on a water knife. Magna Cut steel, obviously. The entire water line is in Magna Cut. We've got this jimping down the spine that goes almost all the way to the tip. So really great for traction and stuff like this. But the Intersect is a really cool knife because it's great around the water, but it doesn't necessarily need to be used for fishing and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's just going to hold up really nicely. It's a great EDC fixed blade.
I agree. I mean, it's a great little blade shape for just general utility. I mean, it's a classic drop point. It's gonna work.
Yeah, for sure. The other cool thing about it is the sheath. So we really thought hard about how you might want to carry this sheath. So the way it's set up out of the box, great for carrying inside your waders, in your pocket, all that good stuff. This is a J-hook style clip, so great retention. But you can flip it to the backside as well. That'll help with retention if you're carrying it in some other way, like you can put it through your belt loops and stuff like that. You've got a drainage port at the bottom of all of the sheaths for all the water knives for any excess moisture. But yeah, really cool sheath. It's
I would say with the on the subject of attachments. Sorry to interrupt.
No.
With the holes and the slots on there, you also made it compatible with a lot of aftermarket stuff as well. So
absolutely.
if none of those options suit you, you've got more options.
Yep.
Good stuff.
So that is the Intersect. And the Intersect, and then the two folders we'll get to, they all come with the orange paracord lanyard. Makes it easier to retrieve from the pocket, also better for visibility.
Sure.
Next up is the undercurrent. So this is, as we were thinking about the water collection and, the different types of knives we wanted to present, there's a lot of stuff that is kind of, whether you're on the boat or you're at the dock, prepping bait, cutting line that's maybe got caught up in a propeller, stuff like that.
Sure.
Like what are you going to use for that? And you can use some of these, but really we wanted a nice beefy fixed blade, something that really locks in your hand here. So there's this contouring in here is actually concave, so your fingers naturally fall
right
into
in
the
there.
handle.
Yeah.
So again, we've got a Santoprene handle on that partially serrated edge.
So in the tang construction it's essentially a full tang, but the handle's molded over it.
Yes.
So you have that strength from the rigidity, for those of you who were wondering about that. And I mean, it may not be a blunt tip, but I could see this being a great dive knife as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
and we've already heard tons of feedback. A lot of people asking us what's the next thing in the water collection, and
awesome.
People have been asking for a dive knife. But yeah, we've had a lot of people who are already like, that'll get the job done.
Yeah.
And so yeah, we really kind of wanted a jack of all trades, like hard use fixed blade in a line that you could use for pretty much anything you want without worrying about it. The sheath will mount, somewhere inside the boat, like on the console or something like that, or on your belt. We've got the thumb release right there for the sheath, so good retention. We were thinking, if this ends up on the bottom of the boat, you don't want it to necessarily fall out of the sheath, so making sure being safe.
Yeah, good stuff. And MagnaCut's such a good choice for this whole line too, because of course it is very stainless, but it's got a lot of toughness and a lot of edge retention as well, which is just a great combination that you don't see anywhere else.
Yeah,
which is great.
For us, it was really about because as we were getting into the nitty-gritty of designing these knives and engineering and selecting materials, was right when we first got our test sheets of MagnaCut. And so we very quickly were like, that's the steel for this.
One. Yeah.
And it's, in our opinion, it's really maximizing the potential of MagnaCut. With the corrosion resistance, which a lot of people aren't talking about. It's a lot of people are focusing on hardness, toughness, edge retention. But yeah, it just made complete sense for this collection.
Yeah, excellent choice. The folders now.
Yeah. So, these have been getting a ton of attention, super popular, which, not surprising, right? There's a lot of crossover with everyday carry, people who prefer hard use folders, and with water. So we have the Mini Adira and the Adira.
There you go.
Thank you. These have Grivery handles, so these are nice and lightweight. We've added an aluminum backspacer here just to give it a little extra rigidity. Axis lock, of course. All the internals are stainless. We did make sure that all of that stuff would hold up with water.
Sure. Corrosive environments and everything, like salt water.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure,
yeah.
Nice.
And then, of course, MagnaCut steel, orange highlights for visibility. These are, I've kind of been, affectionately referring to them as the water version of the Adamas.
Yeah, it's kind of you can definitely see that in the blade profile. With the injection molded handles, I thought you were going to say the wet Griptilian.
Yeah, or wet Griptilian, yeah. Or
but that makes more sense, actually.
Bug out.
The beefy bug out, yeah. No, the full size especially, I like how it fits my hand quite well.
Yep.
It is a full size handle that works great. I think the Mini is going to work great, probably if you have slightly, not necessarily larger hands. Like this kind of gets in the way a little bit for me. So keep that in mind if you're in the market for this. Benchmade, of course, has a bunch of other knives in this size range if this looks like it would get in your way. But medium to small hands especially, I think this is going to be a super option.
And even though it's called a Mini, it's still larger than a lot of the other Mini knives that we made.
Oh yeah, that's a full-size knife right there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, ready for full-size work.
Yep.
Excellent. Well, that's all we have to show you right now. Make sure to follow the links in the description. It'll take you to the Benchmade page over at the Knife Center where you can get your orders in for this, as well as the Shootout and many other things too, whatever you like, over there at the website. John, thank you so much, man.
My pleasure.
Appreciate your time. Folks, keep sticking around for all the rest of our Blade Show coverage. We'll see you in the next video.